Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I am on my way to meet my in-laws for dinner for my sister-in-law's birthday today. And because my husband is such a stickler for being on time, I made sure I got here on time to this restaurant called Chuy's Mexican restaurant. And they haven't even left their house yet. And Alex is over there and he's like, just come over here. And I'm like, it's a 20-minute drive from here to there. I was like, I did this on purpose so I would like be on time because I know that you like me to be on time. I guess my brother-in-law didn't get off work till 7:30, which is, I guess that's why we made the reservations at 7:30. It just makes no sense to me, but whatever. I've never been to this place. It's kind of hard to be a vegetarian and go to Mexican restaurants. They just don't have tons of options. So I thought, well, not because of that, but I thought because since I'm waiting for them, I might as well just vlog for a little bit. So I'm gonna do that and drive through the mall. I really did not do anything today. Oh, I guess this isn't an exit right here. I didn't really do a whole lot today, and I will tell you why. I got up and I was doing stuff around the house. I literally had nothing to do today, and I went to go get a coffee and like did some banking stuff and all that. And then I was wanting to make a bunch of videos, and that was my plan, to come home, take a shower, and make a bunch of videos. But Boo Radley has been having this thing. It's really weird. It's like, and before you diagnose, because I know people always want to be real helpful, I've already taken him to the vet. We went to the vet today. So, he has this thing where he's like, so anyway, poor guy, and it happens like every once in a while, but like the last couple days it's happened a lot more. And so last night I was real worried about him, and so I was like, I'm gonna take him to the vet tomorrow if I can get it. But I didn't think I'd be able to get in today, and I called, and the receptionist was like, oh, we can get you in right away, because I'm there all the time with the dogs. So she was like, we can get you in right away, we can get you in. And this was like at like 2 or something, and she's like, can you come at like 4:10? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I went home and changed, and I got Boo Radley. He was so nervous going without his brothers. Like, I think he had no clue like what was going on, like why he was going without his brothers. It was real cute. But he was nervous. He was so nervous to go, and Tucker and Pee-Pee like were kind of confused why they weren't going to. I think they were probably happy, but they weren't confused. So Boo Radley and I trekked off to the vet together by ourselves, and we got there, and they had to make us wait outside because anytime that they're like worried that it might be a cough, that it could be contagious, they like have you stay outside, you know, and then you bring them in, they put you in a room. So we were just sitting out there, and then they came out and they were like, come on in. So we came in and met with the vet, and she's so fantastic. And so she's like, well, I want to show you a video. She like saw him, and she's like, yeah, he seems fine. He seems, and he of course doesn't do it in the room, right? Like, he doesn't make this noise. So she was like, you know, and I said something about that, and she was like, yeah, they never do. She's like, well, you know, we need them to show what's going on, but they never do, you know. And so anyway, she was like, well, I want to show you this video of what it is to see if it's what, like, she's like, I have a video of another dog. Let me show you the video to see if that's what's going on. And she says it's kind of an exaggerated case with this other dog. So she went and got her phone, and then she showed me this video, and I was like, that's exactly what it is. Well, at the exact like moment that she got done showing me the video, Boo Radley started doing it. And she's like, that's exactly it. And so she went out and she brought in this paper and this like binder, and she was like showing me all this stuff, and it's apparently called reverse sneezing. And it's rather common in dogs when they get like a cold. And it has something to do with, she was like showing me all these pictures of like, you know, the inside of a dog's mouth and like the anatomy, and she was explaining to me what happens. And apparently it's pretty normal. And so he's fine, and she said he probably just has like a cold, and when it goes away, he won't be doing it anymore. But so yeah, it's called reverse sneezing, and she gave me some papers on it to like explain what it was. But then I was talking to her about Pee-Pee, and she's like, how's he doing? And because I'd taken him in there, I think in December, And I was like, he's doing really well. She's like, how's the cough? And I said, the cough is good. I said, you know, like, he'll have a day where he coughs like a couple times, but then he'll have like 3 days where he doesn't cough at all. And she said, you know, I was just talking about him the other day. And I was like, you were? And she was like, yeah. She was like, I was telling one of the technicians about him because we got another dog in here that has, you know, heart disease, has an enlarged heart like him. And she said, I was telling, you know, the technician that I didn't think that he would make it 6 months. And, you know, he's made it like over, you know, a year now, like a year and, what has it been, like a year and almost 3 months. And I looked at her and I said, you didn't say 6 months. I said, you told me a year and a half. And she goes, I know I did. She goes, I was hopeful. And she said, you were like really upset. And I started laughing at her. And she goes, Peter, if I had told you 6 months that day. I go, I know. And she's like, but you know, he's doing really well. And I said, could he live a lot longer if we got, because we've gotten like, maybe like managed the cough a little bit. She was like, oh yeah. She was like, I mean, if the medicine is working and the cough is like managed, she was like, you know, he could live to be, you know, another, you know, however long, it just depends. And she goes, that's really what we wanted to do, was get the cough managed so that, you know, then he'll be a dog that dies of old age or something like that. She goes, we see that a lot. She was like, but at that point that you brought him in here, the cough was advanced and I was really worried about him and stuff. I was like, oh, thank God. So we got good news about Boom. We got good news about Pee-Pee. And so that was that. And then I came home and was dealing with some sobriety stuff. I don't know where to park because I don't know where they're going to park. Dealing with some sobriety stuff, and then with a friend, talking to a friend on the phone, and then I've been trying to get a hold of Tanya today. I'm assuming she went to Florida. I haven't heard from her, so I hope she's feeling better. But what time am I at? What was I gonna say? So then by the time that I was going to start making videos, I looked at the clock and it was already like 6 and I knew I needed to leave by 7. So I was like, I'll just feed the dogs and, you know, like, do all that and go to my family's thing and be present for my family, and I'll do the YouTube stuff tomorrow. So, yeah, I had a bunch of videos I wanted to make, though. I wish I, you know, could have done that, but... Anyway, there's other days, you know, always. But it's been a good day. I've kind of had this, like, dull headache all day long. Like, I don't know if it's, like, it doesn't feel much like a migraine. It feels like a headache. But it is what it is. Maybe I just need to eat. Oh, that is one thing that I did earlier today. I went to Roost Cafe and I had a grilled cheese. I went in there at the last minute. Look at my hair. It looked so cute when I left the house, so now it doesn't. I went to Roost Cafe. The camera always kind of shows weird angles of my hair. But I went to Roost Cafe and I got a grilled cheese and I got tomato soup. And it was okay. I ate all of my tomato soup and I had water and a coffee. I had all of my tomato soup and like most of my grilled cheese, but not all of it. The woman in there was so funny. That was my waitress. I love her. And she was like, are you needing something sticky and good because it's cold outside? And I said, yeah, it's freezing. It's 14 degrees right now, but it's like windy. So it's colder than that. It's crazy. I feel like there was something that I wanted to say about last night, like after I got done with everything, but now I can't remember what it was. I watched that video that I was talking about last night from the restricted section, which is now called Spine something, and about why they don't like true crime. They even talked about In Cold Blood in the book, and it was really interesting to me listening to their video like, I don't disagree with some of the things that they were saying. They were talking a lot about the victims and, you know, how hard it would be if you were one of the victims' families to, like, read the books and things like that. Even, like, in cold blood, because, like, you know, the family had, like, other children that weren't there. I think they had 2 daughters that weren't there. So, like, I understand that from that point of view. And it makes you look at the intention of certain true crime, you know? Like, I talked about this in my video that I did, talking about In Cold Blood, that it seems like kind of like the direction that we're taking with In Cold Blood, the direction that we're taking with true crime is changing over time. You know, that back in the day, it was, you know, just accounts of it. And there would be, like, those books that you get at, like, the grocery store, be in, like, the bottom, you know, aisle of the grocery store. And I've read quite a few of those books, you know, but now it's, like, personalized accounts from, like, the investigators, or, like, this month we're reading the BTK killer's daughter. And, you know, like, when I was talking to Mel, she said it's a lot about, like, spirituality, and it's a lot about, it's very religious, she said, but she was like, it's not overwhelming to the point that if you don't like that, it bothers you. She said it makes sense in the context of her story. And then, you know, she was but then, like, there's a lot, like, it's also the story of, like, getting through that and, like, what that hope is like, and, you know. And they also talked in there about people profiting off of the victims' cases. But I do know that in a lot of situations, there's money set aside for, like, victims of certain situations. I've seen that happen with certain true crime books. The Paul Holes, and I think the other thing, too, is, like, from an education point of view, you guys, my lips, I did a lip scrub last night. Whenever I have chapped lips, lip scrubs always help my lips. Well, I got sent this product, and I tried it last night. It was this pink champagne or something lip scrub, and I put it on my lips, and I did not like it at all. And I feel like it made my chapped lips worse. And I've been, like, consistently putting, like, lip balm on my lips all day today. I was thinking about doing a new video on my review channel called Products I've Been Sent. And it just being, like, you know, like, I mean, depending on, like, that week or that month or whatever, like, if I've been sent, like, 3 products or 5 products, just going through each product that I've been sent and giving you, like, my honest review on that. Because I'm starting to get sent a lot of products. And the other thing that I think I'm going to do is, like, 3 or 4 people have reached out to me about candles, like me trying their candles. And I think what I'm going to do is do, like once a month, if people want to send me candles, doing, like, 1 dedicated video a month on that review channel just to candles, and trying, like, several different kinds of candles. The thing is, like, this is how I feel about reviews. Like, I struggle with, why does it look like my lights are on but they're not on? I struggle with, like, makeup reviewers. Like, this is part of my issue, okay? Is when you watch somebody that does, like, a review of, like, a palette, but they've used it one time, okay? Like, I was thinking about this tonight, because I'm thinking about doing, I have so many of you out there that reach out to me, like, men that have beards or want beards, or I have, like, girlfriends and wives of men that have beards or want beards, or mothers of sons. And they're like, they see your beard, they love your beard, which, you know, the thing is if you see it on the vlog from this angle, like, you can see that it's like, it's uneven. It's hard to keep a beard. Well, right now my beard is long. It's hard to keep it, like, even, you know? I meant to trim it, but I didn't. And so, like, people always ask me, like, what beard trimmer do you use and whatever. And I had a beard trimmer before that I really liked. And here's the thing, that once you start using one, it's hard to use another one because you start trusting it so much that it's, like, it's scary to use another one because you're like, well, what if I, like, trim off half my beard because I don't know how to use it, you know? But I did get another one because the one that I used before, which I think was a Braun, or I think it was a Norelco. The one before that was a Braun. The guard started to rip on it. There were holes in it, and I would feel it when I went up, and I was like, I'm gonna cut a chunk out of my skin. Like, I'm, like, gonna just, because of that, you know, the razor is so, like, you know, whatever. I was like, I'm gonna cut a chunk of my skin out. Like, I've got to be really careful with this. So one day I just went, I think I talked about this on here. I bought, like, the wrong thing. I bought, like, a manscaper instead of, like, a beard trimmer because I thought it would work just as well. But anyway, I kept both of them. But this new razor beard trimmer that I'm using is so fantastic. It has, like, 8 different, what do you call it, just guards on it. It has one guard, but you can adjust it. It's fantastic. And I mean to tell you, like, my other one, I literally, and maybe it's because it was old, I don't know, but I had to put beard oil on it all the time. And I even asked my hairstylist about it, and she's like, you should only have to put beard oil on it like once a month. Oh, no, that was not the case. I had to put beard oil on this thing every time I used it, and even then, like, it would stick. Like, Alex would be in the bathroom with me, and I'd be like doing it, and I'd be like, damn, like that, and he would be like, babe, he'd be like, what is wrong? And I'm like, it's literally like sticking in my hairs and my beard, and my beard's short, it's not that long, right? I got this new one, and I'm just like, I think I'm gonna do a video about it tomorrow and show like how great it is, because I've been using it now for like over a month, and I love it. I don't know how long I've been using it, but for a couple weeks, and it's fantastic. It's like the best beard trimmer I've ever had, honest to God. And it's not like I've used every beard trimmer in the world, but it is a really, really good one. My husband's calling. I'll be right back. Okay, they're on their way. 20 minutes later. I said, I'm out here vlogging, so just let me know when you get here. There's a lot of parking spaces out front. I will say the one thing about my in-laws is that, like, Carlitos and Sebastian are so well behaved when we go out to dinner. Now watch, I'll come back on here in like an hour and I'll be like, okay, so they were so not well behaved. But they usually are really, really well behaved. Like, Alex's family, like, they don't have a lot of tolerance for, like, at home and stuff. Like, if they have a party, the kids are always running around and being crazy and loud and stuff like that. But if they go out to dinner, like, they know that they have to behave. They're always, like, and they always are dressed very nice. And Alex and I talk a lot about that because, like, you know, when I would go out to dinner, I feel like this has changed a lot. And anytime I say this, people get very, very upset about this. You know, they'll say, like, well, you know, my child has this and whatever. I'm not talking about children that have, like, behavioral issues and things like that. I can't imagine what that would be like as a parent. I understand, you know? But if you don't have those issues, you know, like, for me, it was always, like, a special occasion to go out to dinner with my parents. Especially, like, each of them as... And I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to that, you know? But, like, especially with my dad, like, my dad would really take me to a lot of high-end places because, you know, he would, like, that would be, like, what we would do. And he'd be like, this is a time to practice our manners. Like, he would always say that, you know? Like, you know, when you sit down, you put your napkin in your lap. And, you know, these are still things that I know today. And I'm like, you know, my mother was a stickler for this stuff. I mean, even at the dinner table, like, napkin in your lap, you know, how the silverware goes, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that you say thank you, you say please, you ask if you can get up from the table. You know, if you get up from the table to go to the bathroom, you put your napkin on the chair if you're going to come back. If you're not going to come back, you put it on your plate, things like that. Like, these things were, like, things that were, like, ingrained in me, and maybe they're stupid, I don't know, but, like, I always thought they were important when I was growing up. And, you know, we would go out to dinner, and, like, both my parents were always like, you know, this is, like, a special thing. Like, when my mom and my aunt would take Caroline and I out with my uncle and stuff like, that was always, like, a special thing. Like, we were told, like, we knew to behave. Like, there was no running in and out of the bathrooms and going underneath the table and all that kind of stuff. There was none of that, you know? And, you know, I have friends of mine that have kids that have, like, Asperger's and ADHD, and they're like, you have no idea what it's like. And I can't imagine with a situation like that, you know? And I was always a very, very busy kid. Like, you know, I think that's probably not a surprise to anybody. I don't really know how my parents handled that stuff, but I think, like, I felt so just, like... You know, now I think, like, today it's a lot different. Like, I think, you know, when I was growing up, like, if you're my age, I don't know, you know, tell me it was a different story for you, but, like, we didn't go out to dinner a lot. Like, even just to, like, you know, Chi-Chi's or something back in the day with, like, this Mexican restaurant. Like, we just didn't, you know, that wasn't something that we did a lot, or even just pizza, you know, like, we would, like, you know, my dad would order a pizza. My mom rarely ever ordered a pizza, you know, but, like, to go out to dinner was, like, I don't know, maybe that was just my family, but we just didn't do it a lot. Like, it was birthdays or a holiday or something we would, you know? Like, Easter and Mother's Day, we usually went out. My mom's side of the family, you know, with my dad, it was, like, Christmas Eve, we would go out to dinner somewhere if I was with him early in the afternoon, you know, or whatever. But, like, we didn't often, like, or for birthdays we did, but, you know, it wasn't like we were going out to dinner, like, twice a week. And I have friends of mine that do that. And so I think it normalizes it for kids. And so I think then they just don't feel like, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to me because you see kids like, okay, like I know like Carlitos will have his tablet tonight. Like he always has his tablet. And so he sits around and he just watches his tablet, you know? And it's interesting to me because back in the day, like didn't have books or tablets on the table. Like my dad probably wouldn't have allowed that, honestly. He probably would have had a huge issue with that. I know one thing that like drives Alex's mom crazy is like phones at the dinner table, like even at their house. Which my mom, she didn't like that, you know, and she was kind of around just for the beginning of like the whole cell phone, smartphone thing. Did I have a smartphone? When my mom passed away, I don't think I had a smartphone. That was like the beginning. I don't think I had an iPhone until I was with Alex. No, I know I didn't, because we had like the 4. It was like our first phone together. And, you know, like, it's a different world with the smartphone thing today, but like, my mother, it would have made her so sad. Like, she enjoyed having conversations at dinner, you know, and she thought, like, going out to dinner with family was a time to have conversations. She wouldn't have enjoyed it, you know, like, with everybody being on their phone, it would have made her sad. And sometimes we'll be sitting there and, like, and I try to stay off my phone because I know it bothers her, which I know is, you guys probably find hard to believe, but, like, if I'm in a crowd, I'm usually the one that's not on my phone. Like, if I go to a concert or something, I'll take a couple pictures at first, or if we're out to dinner, I'll do something like that, but then I'm, like, off my phone. I just like to be in the presence of, I love to go out to dinner, I love to, you know, whatever, and Alex's mom at some point will just get kind of frustrated, and she'll be like, can you guys please get off your phones? And it's like, you look around and like everybody's on their phone, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just a different world, isn't it? And I think it's interesting too, like, as expensive as dinners are to go out, like, going out to dinner is expensive. Like, Alex and I went to Cheesecake Factory last night, and he got a burger, was that last night? Yeah. He got a burger, and I got the Impossible Burger because they had the best. If you want a veggie burger, they have the best veggie burger in the entire world at Cheesecake Factory. It's the Impossible Burger. It is so, so good. In fact, when it comes out, like, I'm sometimes afraid they gave me just a cheeseburger. It's that good. But our bill was like $45 for 2 of us, okay? And we each had I had a Coke. No, I had a root beer, and he had just water. And sometimes we get an appetizer. Sometimes we'll get cheese quesadillas or something, you know? But we didn't last night. And then brunch on Sundays is so expensive. And, you know, I see, everybody brings kids to brunch on Sundays. And at Cheesecake Factory, there's a lot of kids. I mean, that's an expensive restaurant to bring kids to. And, I know my friends that have kids, you know, Aaron and Eric, whenever, their daughter Maddie comes, she gets whatever she wants, you know, and so you think that, you're really paying for 3 people. I don't know how parents do it that have 5 kids and stuff like that. This will be funny if this is them pulling in right next to me. It's not. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Do you guys, take your kids out to dinner? Is it expensive? Do you have rules with your kids? I always wonder about that. It's interesting, you know, not being a parent. I always wonder, it's easy to say you would do one thing and not be a parent, but then if you were a parent, what would you do? You know what I mean? I'm not stupid. I know that. Whenever I do the rants about kids, I hope people know that those are jokes. You know, I mean, I'm not stupid. I know, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to, have kids and how difficult that is. I can't even imagine, you know? Look, I have my clove gum in here. I brought it in here. But I feel like we've also kind of become a kid-centered world, and I don't think that's necessarily bad. You know, one of the reasons I'm not a parent, I chose not to be a parent, is because if I was a parent, I would be... Did I not bring my wallet? I brought it. But if I, this has truly become my purse, okay? Let me just tell you. I have my wallet in there. What's in my purse? I have my wallet. I have chapstick. I have my Aleve. I have my Kiehl's lip balm. I have gum. I have the Dior lip plumper and lip accelerator. I have my prescription for this sensitive toothpaste, but she said that I could get Sensodyne if I wanted to, so I got Sensodyne. I have clove gum. I have my car washes that I never use, that my dad got us, and I have an extra camera battery. Camera battery. Alex takes his car to get washed every week, you guys. Every week. And the inside of my husband's car, like, we're both kind of weird about it. There's like literally nothing in here. And this time down in here, there's right now like a $1 bill, a phone cord, the hand sanitizer, and some gum, and an eyeglass cleaner. And then I have a second compartment, and it has just this stuff on it. It has a pair of sunglasses, pair of reading glasses, and which I should probably take in so I can see the menu. And I have these sunglasses. Oh, shoot. Which I lost the nose thing on these glasses. I'm so pissed about it. But I think you can buy those at the store. I said, how long are you guys going? How far away are you? He goes, oh, just 10 minutes or less. Or about 10 minutes. I said, okay. It's been 9 minutes and 24 seconds since I've been vlogging. So we'll see. This will be a test. A test of the radio broadcasting system. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think it'd be... What was I saying about... Oh, if I was going to be a parent, I would be the parent that was like, live in the right neighborhood, very involved in the school, you know, part of the PTA, chaperone things, you know, like, have my kids in sporting activities, but also have them in like arts classes and music classes and expose them to every different thing. And of course, all of that stuff costs money, so it's expensive as hell, you know, not to mention, if you're blessed enough to have a child that has absolutely no issues physically, emotionally, you know, or medically on the side, you know, glasses, medicine, all that stuff. Like, you guys that have kids out there, God bless you. It's expensive. Not to mention, on top of that, being a good parent, never just being like, oh my God, you know, like, can't go to the Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, all of that is things I took into consideration when I decided if I wanted to have kids or not. And I thought, if you can't do it all, and you can't be that parent that's going to dedicate 100% of your time, well, you have no business being a parent. That's how I felt about it personally for me. And I know people don't understand that. And people are always like, well, you'd be such a great parent, or... you know, you'd be such a great parent, or, you know, like this or that. But I don't want to be a parent if I can't be that kind of parent. You know, I just don't. And I'm somebody that when I get into something like YouTube or whatever, I'm very passionate about it. And, you know, it's not just talking about a hobby. You're talking about raising a person, you know, a human being. And, I don't know. I take that stuff very seriously. And that's a lot of why Alex and I, when, you know, we decided not to have kids. I mean, those were conversations we had early on in our relationship. You know, when we both felt very much like that. You know, Carlos and Liliana, like, their life is their kids. And I'm sure many of you, your life is your kids. I mean, so many of you are like, you know, like, I listen to your vlog when I'm driving my son to school, or somebody says that on there, I love that. Or, you know, I have just put the kids to bed and I'm listening to you. Or somebody the other day said, I love this. They're like, is that Peter's video? Or their child said that in the back seat. And if they like listen to my vlog on the way, like going places. I love that. That makes me so happy, you know? And I can be a great uncle. I don't have to be a dad to do that. And I know this is going to sound bad and people like take this the wrong way, but in some ways I think I'm too selfish to be a parent, you know? Like, I do like to go, you know, to the casino, and I do like to go to, and it's not saying that you can't do that as a parent, but like, I'm not going to get a nanny. I would not, there's nothing wrong with that, but for me, that wouldn't be what I would do. You know, I would, you know, and so, and I don't have a problem necessarily with babysitters or, you know, daycare and all that kind of stuff, but like, I mean, I had all that and it was fine when I was growing up, but it's expensive, it's hard. You can't call a babysitter at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, well, I want to run to the Meijer, you know what I mean? Get a fountain pop with my best friend, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot, and I don't know. Can't travel that way. Like, all of my friends that have kids, they travel with their kids typically, you know? And that's why I decided that, you know, sometimes I wish, you know, I think about it, like I was talking about that in a vlog on here one night, like I think, you know, what would my life be like if that were the case? And also at this age, you know, I would be 66 if I had a child today, when my child was like in college. Like, I don't want to be that old, you know, having a child in college. Not that that's that old, but my mom died at 64, so I don't know. That car's lights went on. I was like, what? It is, the comments on my video that I did on my review channel about the movie Hereditary is so interesting, you guys. It's like, so many people are like they've seen it or they have opinions about it. And a lot of people have the same kind of opinion that I did about how weird it was. So many people said Toni Collette deserved an Oscar for that. And I thought that was so interesting because that was something I kind of just threw out in my video. But like, she was so fantastic in that movie, like so good. It was like so much, like the movie, I have to tell you, like I still can't get it out of my head. Like that's what the effect it had on me, which I think was the intended effect that the movie was supposed to have. But it was a strange, spooky movie. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. It just is not. It is spooky. It's strange. It is disturbing. I compared it to Rosemary's Baby, and a couple people were like, I didn't get the Rosemary's Baby feel from it, but I totally did. And it was just kind of like how it was let out. I think it was very much just one woman in the movie that was kind of being very manipulative of Toni Collette. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that was kind of what it was for me, the Rosemary's Baby part. It reminded me of, was her name Ruth Gordon? That was in, oh God, what was that movie? My mother loved that movie back in the day. That had the, you know, if you want to be free, be free. If you want to be me, be me. Cat Stevens. Do you guys love Cat Stevens? Oh, I love Cat Stevens. Now I'm going to have to download a bunch of his music. But what was that movie back in the day where they met at the funeral? And it was that guy, and he was like 20, and he fell in love with Ruth Gordon. Was that her name, Ruth Gordon? And she was like 70 in the movie. Harold and Maude. Oh my God, I love that movie so much. It's such a great movie. It'd be interesting if you saw like a movie like that. That would be an interesting movie to remake, wouldn't it? Like, that's kind of funny that they haven't remade that movie. You know, that would be a good movie today to remake. But how would it be perceived today, you know? Would we see it as comedy, or would we see it, you know? But anyway, I think that's her name, Ruth Gordon. She was so good in Rosemary's Baby as the neighbor. And that's who this woman reminded me of in the movie. And I think that's why I got those vibes. Hello? Okay, I'll be right in. Bye. They're walking in. So I will be back. I've already like vlogged for like almost a half an hour, so I will be back in just a little bit. And I wonder where they parked. I don't see them walking in. I will be back in just a little while, and this will be an early vlog tonight. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye. Well, hello. It is many moons, and no, not many moons. It's many hours later. It is 6:28 a.m. I went home after dinner last night, and I slept the entire night away. So I like woke up, I was like wide awake, and the dogs had to go outside, so I took them out. It's softly snowing in Indianapolis right now, and it is 12 degrees. I got such a good night's sleep. But now I'm probably going to be up for the rest of the day, which is fine. I may try to go back to sleep for another hour or two. Alex doesn't even have to be at work until 10 this morning, so I slept so good. Anyway, we had a great dinner last night. It was me and Alex, and then his mom and his grandma, Carlos, Liliana, and the kids, Carlitos and Sebastian. And they were very well behaved. Well, Sebastian got a little bit loud, but he gets real excited when Alex's mom shows up, and she showed up late. So, he was really excited to see her. He's so sweet. And I sat next to Carlitos, and he played on his tablet, and he was playing this game, and he kept on showing me like what he was doing. I was so confused. He was trying to show me what he was doing, and it was fun. It was a good night. We actually, the Mexican restaurant that we went to was really good. I'd never been there before. It's called Chuy's, and they had like all these different, I ate like crap, but they had all these different sauces and stuff. And they had like this ranchero sauce or something that you like dip chips in. It was really good. And then we got queso and guac, and then they had salsa, of course. And the snow this morning is so pretty. Anyway, and then I got a bean and cheese burrito, and they brought it out, and it was like, thank God I cut into it. Mine was a steak burrito. So they had to like take it back and remake mine, so they made me another burrito. And then I was sitting there, this was so cute. So I was sitting there, And our waitress came up to me and she said, can I ask you a question? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, and they're all, so like, you know, Alex's whole family, they don't like get any of the YouTube stuff, right? Really at all. And so the waitress comes up to me and she was like, is your name, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah. And she was like, is your name Peter? And I said, yeah. And she said, okay, one of our other servers is back there, and she's like freaking out because she thinks you're like this YouTuber that she watches. She goes, are you a YouTuber? And I said, yeah, I make YouTube videos. I said, well, bring her out here. So she brought her out. So hi to Abby, and hi to Abby's sister Haley, who is at home. And she was super sweet. And she came out and she was talking to me, and I was asking her who she watches on YouTube and stuff. And she was like, oh my God, she was like, you're my favorite YouTuber. I watch every video. My sister and I watch every video you put out. She's like, my sister's gonna die. And she's like, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, yeah, let's get a picture. Do you have your camera right now? She goes, well, can we wait until I'm done so I can take my apron off? I was like, yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. So anyway, it was really sweet. And then when she walked away, Carlos was like, dude, why is this girl coming up to you? Like, what is she, like, I don't understand. And I was like, she watches like videos that I make, and he's like, dude, I don't understand. Like, what? He doesn't get it. It was hilarious. So anyway, it's really sweet when people, it doesn't happen to me. It happened to me like a couple times in Los Angeles. And then, but that's like the first time here in Indianapolis that it's happened in a while. The last time was another server actually with like Melissa and Jason. I love when people come up to me and they tell me that they watch my videos. It means the world to me. So if you see me out, come up. I'm super friendly. And it was funny because I said to this girl, I said, so do you like have you ever wanted to like make a YouTube channel? I always ask people that. And because I always encourage people to make YouTube channels if they want to, because I think they should start. Because I think there's so many people out there that want to start and they're like afraid to, like I was. And she was like, oh, no. She was like, I'm not charismatic. I don't have like the same personality as, she said she watches like Trisha and Shane, and she's like, I'm not as charismatic as you. And I was like, sweetheart, I said, you are so charismatic. She was too. She had like really like boisterous personality. She was really sweet. And that was fun. Yeah, so then we were there for like, I don't know, like an hour and a half. We had a good time. It's so funny because Alex's grandma is like, she's like 88, I think. Yeah, she just had her 88th birthday, and she's like in great shape, you know, and she just comes out with all of us, and she's sitting there, and like, so when my aunt passed away, my cousin Caroline, like, she gave me a bunch of like suits of my aunt's, because my aunt had a bunch of like really nice, my aunt had fantastic clothes. So like all of these like really nice suits we gave to Alex's mom for work, and then like her coats we gave to I just like took over all of these like dry cleaning bags. It was all just like all this stuff that was like dry cleaned that had been sitting there. And then like these coats we took over that were really nice, that my aunt had. And she had this black coat, and I remember her wearing it, and it had like faux fur like on the collar and on the like trim of the arms. And his grandma was wearing it, and his grandma has like white hair, and it's kind of like over, her hairstyle is very much like Miranda from The Devil Wears Prada. And so she's sitting there and she's drinking like a Corona. She always like has a beer when we go out. And I don't know why that always kind of cracks me up, you know, that she's like 88. A couple years ago, we took them all out for New Year's, and we went to this party at the Chase Tower, and we got like a section and stuff. Carlos and Liliana, did they go with us that year? I can't remember. It was like 2 years ago. I feel, oh, that was like maybe my very first, vlog I ever did, I think, was New Year's going into New Year's Day. I think that was the one. And we all went to this party and stuff, and it was like at this party that's like huge. on the certain floor of this tall building in Indianapolis. So they had all these different rooms, and our friends run this party. So they put us in this room that they played like a lot of Latino music, and they were all up dancing and stuff. And like Alex's grandma was like, I mean, she was like up and dancing, and it just goes to prove that you can enjoy your life at any age, you know. She has such a great attitude, I think, just about life in general, you know. To move to another country in your 80s and just assimilate here, I just can't even imagine, you know. But her whole family's here, so. But we had a good time. It was nice. I love going out to dinner with my family. They're always a lot of fun and hanging out and stuff. But by the time we left, they were like, come back to the house. And Alex was like, I'm going home, I'm tired. So we got home, and Alex and I are like, we've been kind of looking at some houses on Airbnbs on like different islands. Like we were looking at St. Martin, and we looked at, I've looked at Grand Cayman. What was the other island that I was looking at, that we were looking at? Turks and Caicos. And we're thinking about maybe planning a trip with like Sarah, his best friend Sarah, and a friend of hers. And like renting a house. And some of these houses, you guys, are like incredible, right? Like, they're like 4-bedroom houses, like on the beach with like private pools. I mean, they are like luxury Airbnbs. And because we want to go in the summer, they're like $400 a night or something, which split 3 ways, you know, would be incredible. So we're thinking about doing that for like a week, and the airfare's not too expensive. I looked, but I don't know. Maybe do that for our birthday trip, and then go to San Diego in August. We really want to do that. I was just playing Lana Del Rey's, I had my iPod on shuffle, and it was playing Lust for Life. So now that song was stuck in my head. So yeah, that was my night last night. It was fun. I was going to do a live stream when I got home, but I was so tired. So I was like, I'm just going to go to bed with my husband. We took the dogs out and stuff like that, and then we went right up to bed. I will say one thing, is that I used to be like, if I was laying there and I knew I wanted to finish my vlog, I would like set my alarm, and then it would go off, and I would like turn my alarm off and whatever. And I don't do that anymore because I don't like want to wake up Alex, and so I don't set my alarm anymore. But I also am kind of like, well, if I finish up my vlog in the morning, I finish up my vlog in the morning, and which is good because I'm like awake, you know. I'm thirsty right now though. I wish I had like a water or a cup of coffee or something. Look, my coffee from yesterday is frozen. Well, it's starting to. It's so weird. When I left the house, it was. Thank you. It was completely frozen, and now it's kind of like melting a little bit. McDonald's is open. Everybody's getting their breakfast this morning. Get your breakfast at McDonald's. Yeah, this truly is not going to be a long vlog tonight, though, because I really am going to go home and go back to sleep, I think, for an hour. And then I'll get up when Alex gets up and maybe get some stuff done early today. Poor Tanya, I finally talked to her. They did go to Florida. She said she's like crazy. She doesn't feel well at all. Crazy sick. And I'm like, well, if you're sick, at least you're in Florida. I mean, you have to be sick, be here or in Florida. You're sick in Florida. And she's like, I agree. And poor thing. And Boo Radley is doing much better with his reverse sneezing. He didn't really do it that much tonight. He did it like one time. Our dogs are so hilarious. Like, if they sleep, like, through the night, like, to get, like, I don't know how many hours, like, a dog has to have to sleep. You know, like, PP sleeps so much during the day. But, like, if they sleep... So we went to bed last night. We were probably in bed before 11 last night. And if we sleep straight through the night, by, like, early morning, they're, like, up. Like, they are, like, up and wild because they've, like, slept all night long. And they did last night because when I fell asleep, like, I woke up, like, once or twice. Boo Radley was, like, right next to my side. And PP was next to my leg. And then Tucker was, like, in between Alex and I. And, I mean, they were out. They were asleep. And I could feel Boo Radley, like, on my side. He was, like... But anyway, they were so sweet. But then if one of them gets up, and it's usually PP, like, the other three are up. And so I woke up and PP was like, he was like, which means take me out. I want to go outside. So I took them outside, and yeah. I was at the gas station yesterday, and the woman I was talking to in the gas station, it's like this gas station I never go to either. I was getting a bottle of water, and this woman was like, the door was like right next to where, the door was right next to where she was like standing to work, and it was so cold. And she had on like a coat and like a scarf and a hat and stuff. And I said, something about it, like it being really cold by the door. And she was like, you have no idea. And I said, does it seem to you that, and she was probably, I don't know, 5 or 10 years older than me, but she didn't really look it, honestly. And I think because always, like, my white hair, like, ages me and my beard and stuff, you know? And so I was like, doesn't it seem like this is, like, one of the coldest winters we've ever had? And she was like, oh, yeah. She was like, I remember in, like, 80 or 84, and I'm thinking to myself, 80, I looked at her and I said, she said, I remember in like 80 or 84, we had like a really cold winter like this, and the snow was really bad. Well, it was actually like 76 or 78. It was like the blizzard that we had that people always talk about. But I looked at her and I said, you are dating us. She started laughing. She's like, I know, but I always think back to that. And I thought, well, in 80, I was 8 years old, so I don't. It was interesting, like this morning when I took the dogs out, it was so cold, and I was like, they go like right outside the door, and then they go potty, and then they come right back in, and so I was like just like standing by the door, and I don't know what it was about that, but it like reminded me of me walking to school in the morning, like when it would be like pitch black outside, but it was in the morning, and it was so cold, and for some reason it reminded me of like my mom standing by the door or something, like when I would walk off to school. And I just still think, I talked about that on here not too long ago, about like, isn't it crazy that, like, you know, kids walk to school. This must be when the kids are going to school. Well, it is 6:45, time of school starts, 7:10, something like that. So all the school buses are out. But you know, it's crazy to me that I used to, like, at this time of day, walk to school. Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, there's a school bus. Are the kids on the bus? I can't tell. No, the bus is empty. Does school start at 7:10? I don't even know what time school starts. But it's crazy to me that, like, I used to walk to school in the bitter, bitter cold, you know? And this is before, like, cell phones and, you know, iPods, and I do think that, like, Walkmans came out around that time, maybe a little bit later. I know that by 6th grade, we had like Walkmans. I do remember like 6th or 7th grade. We had like Walkmans. But I don't remember like listening to a Walkman on the way to school, like when I was in elementary school. I don't remember that. But I think of myself as like, you know, like, and I wasn't, I mean, I remember all of my friends in my neighborhood, although I don't remember walking with anybody else. Like I talked about that on here. Like, I don't remember like picking up anybody and walking to school together. And I remember on the way home seeing kids, but I don't remember like, I mean, I was a very lonely kid. Like, when I say that, I'm not exaggerating. Like, very lonely. Like, I had, like, one friend in elementary school that I sometimes did stuff with, and very rarely. And, like, the friends that I hung out with were, like, my mom's friends' kids. Like, her friend from, so my mom had two, like, you know, sorority sisters that she was really close with. Susie, that lives in Colorado, but, like, I didn't see them except for in the summer. They would come to visit for an extended period of time. And then my mom's other friend. And she did live in Indianapolis. And, like, on weekends, we would do stuff. And she had a daughter that was 2 years younger than me and a daughter that was, like, 2 years older than me. And so we did stuff together. They were, like, my closest friends, you know? But, like, I didn't have really any friends in school. And so I always walked to school and did everything at school together. I mean, at school, I had a couple girlfriends that I did stuff with. My one, you know, I had, like, my friend that I was friends with from, like, elementary all the way through, but, like, I didn't do stuff with her, like, in the, you know, evenings. I had another friend of mine that I was friends with her through high school, too, and we're, like, Facebook friends today. But, I mean, I knew her through college, too. She went to Ball State, but, like, those weren't, like, girls that, like, I did stuff with, you know, like, after school and stuff. Like, I didn't go over their houses and vice versa. I did have these two girls that I was friends with. Camera fell. Oh, it's getting bright outside. Look at that. So, yeah, I had, like, these two girlfriends that I was really, really close friends with. Like, 6th grade. But, I mean, I have friends here and there, but, like, they just weren't. They would kind of come and go, and I didn't have these friends that, like, I would have for, like, long periods of time, you know? So I don't remember, like, walking to school. And my friend, like, you know what? Like, my friend that, like, I knew, like, all through growing up, like, she lived, like, 3 streets over from me, but she would have walked to school a different way. Like, we went to the same elementary school, obviously, but she would have walked a different way, because hers was like a straight shoot to school, and mine was a different way. Like, hers was like this way, and mine was like this way. So we would have walked 2 different directions to school. But I think, like, in the winter and stuff, a lot of kids had their, like, parents take them. I mean, I know by the time that I was in junior high, I took the bus a lot. I hated the bus. I loathed the bus. I hated it. But by junior high, I took the bus, but my mom really took me to school most of the time. Because I hated it so much. My mom used to drive this old silver Nissan Maxima. I don't know how I remember that, but I can see her, like, driving that car. My mom used to, like, she had this, like, long, like, parka, and she would put it over, like, her nightgown or take me to school. Did your mom ever do that? You know, those are things that, like, I kind of wish I knew, like, now. Like, I didn't ask my mom back. I mean, I asked my mom a lot. Like, I knew a lot about, like, my mom, you know? And I know a lot about my dad, too. Like, just stupid, insignificant stuff. But, like, one of the things I never asked was, like, when I was growing up, like, what did her day look like when I was gone? You know, like, did she go back to sleep till, like, you know, 11? I know she went back to sleep, because we did talk about that later, but, like, was it every day? You know, like, what time would she sleep till? Would she sleep till, like, 11? Like, what did she do, like, during the day, you know? Because my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. you know what's weird to me is like, okay, so this is where I drive normally out here. It's this really residential area. And it's weird to me that there's not a Starbucks out here. Like, I don't know why that just occurred to me. I saw that person, they were like holding like a coffee cup in their hand, and I was like, you know, there's no Starbucks out here. Like, not anywhere out here. I'm almost positive. Like, I can't even think of where the closest Starbucks would be. Which isn't that weird that there's not a Starbucks out here, you know? Like, there's Starbucks everywhere in the world. But, like, not out here. Look how pretty it is out here. You guys want to see? You see, it's just like... And you guys are like, yeah, well, you just showed us a field with snow. But over here, there's like, it's a housing addition, see? And it's all residential. So it's like, why wouldn't there be a Starbucks? Alex has some horror movie that he wants to see. I can't remember what it's called now. But they were talking about it at dinner last night because when they were growing up, it's apparently like an urban legend, like in Latin America, like Venezuela or whatever, like. And they turned it into like a horror movie. And so it's like something that like really scared Alex like when he was growing up. And they were talking about that at dinner last night. I can't believe my sister-in-law. She looks so fantastic. Not that it's old at all, but she's 4. I didn't realize that we were only 2 years apart. I thought she was like 4 or 5 years. Well, I mean, I thought she was like 41, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, she was 44. And the age difference between her and Carlos is almost the exact same age difference as Alex and I. Isn't that funny? And then Fufu and his girlfriend are the exact same age. Carlos and Liliana just went to Puerto Rico. They actually brought me a keychain back of the Puerto Rican flag. They just went to Puerto Rico because Carlos plays on this, like, I don't really understand what it is. Like, it's some kind of, like, traveling team. And it's people from all different countries, and then they go, like, he did it when he was in Venezuela. They would, like, you know, go and play. But it was in Miami then, and now it's in Puerto Rico. Or maybe it changes every year, I guess. I don't know. But they went to Puerto Rico, and they had such a great time. And Liliana was going on and on and on about it last night. She was like, of all the places they've been, like, they've traveled a lot of places. She was like, you know, like, I mean, Mexico and through the Caribbean, they've been to some of those places. And she was like, of all the places we've ever been, like, Puerto Rico is, like, the perfect mix of, like, Venezuela and, like, the United States. And I was like, really? And she was like, oh, yeah. And Carlos was like, oh, dude. He was like, yeah. He was like, Puerto Rico was, he was like, it was lit, dude. He's so funny. And he's like, yeah, he goes, you hear the chicken, the roosters in the morning, and he was like, then you hear the music, and he was like, but it's like real, you know, metropolitan, like the city, and they loved Puerto Rico. They loved it. And they said the beaches were gorgeous, and the beaches actually looked like the beaches in Venezuela, and they had such a great time. He has like another baseball thing he's doing. They're going to Las Vegas in like April, I think. You guys, I honest to God get so many comments on how I say Vegas. So many comments, okay? And I like listened to it, like my videos back, and I've like asked Alex, and he just laughs when I say it, and other friends of mine. I honest to God, I don't know if it's like some like speech impediment thing and I don't hear it or something. Like, I honest to God have no idea. But when people say like how strange it is, like, and I hear other people say it, I don't hear the difference. I honestly don't, you guys. Like, I don't know what I'm saying that is so different than everybody else. I don't get it. Like, I would correct it if I could, but I honest to God don't know what it is. And then people will type in, you say Vegas, and it's like Miss Vanjie. Like, it's like they'll spell it out. Like, it cracks me up, kind of. They'll spell it out, and they'll be like, you say it like Vayyggas, right? And I'm like, Vegas. Okay, Vegas? Las Vegas? I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm so confused. And it's funny because before I was on YouTube, nobody ever corrected me. I mean, I've been going there for like years. Okay, let's just be for real. Nobody has ever corrected me before I was on YouTube. And now that I'm on YouTube, like, everybody corrects me about how I say Las Vegas. I don't know how I say it wrong. I want to correct it and say it right. I mean, I really, to be honest with you, I don't give a shit. But, like, at the same time, it's like, if I'm saying it, that's so hilarious. And I know with talking about it, I'm going to get like 5 more comments. People trying to really be sweet and explain to me like how I'm saying it that's wrong. I still won't get it, I'm telling you. I wish I would, but I don't. See, there's no Starbucks in there. Strip mall, none. I will say this, in my new car, like, the gas tank is a lot more to fill. Like, almost, like, $15 more, maybe a little bit more than that even. But my tank stays full longer. I think it's a bigger tank. Las Vegas, Miss Vanjie. If you don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you don't know what that means, but it's funny. Just know that it's funny. Miss Vanjie. I kind of wish, like, every show out there, like, you could binge watch, but at the same time, I wish you couldn't, because I like traditional TV. But, like, having to wait a whole week for a TV episode really sucks, don't you think? I've never seen that house way back there before. That is so pretty. It's this huge farmhouse way back there. This is still a part of Indianapolis. It's like the north side of Indianapolis. So if you live in Indianapolis, I'm between like Westfield and Noblesville. And it's a really pretty area. And it's, I have to say, like, rather, like, there's still a lot of areas that are rather undeveloped out here. Not tons, but there's some. I wish we didn't feel like we had to, like, build on every possible piece of land, you know, like, it's just like one housing addition after another. These neighborhoods always remind me of that TV show Weeds. I never loved that show. I know people loved it. I had a really hard time getting into it. But that actress that was in it, she was in that movie Longtime Companion. Mary Louise. Is it Mary Louise Parker? Is that her name? Anyway, I like her. She's good. But I never loved that show, I have to say. But these neighborhoods, do you guys remember at the beginning they would play, like, they would show, like, the neighborhood, and it was like Little Houses or whatever they sang? This reminds me of that so much. Like, just all these houses just look like one after the other, look the same. And I don't think that they're not cute. I kind of really like them, honestly, but they do, all of them look the same. I'm trying desperately to get over my chapped lips, can I just tell you? Right here, I can feel it's like split. It hurts. Did you guys ever fork anybody's yard? We did that to our friend one time. Oh my God, she got in so much trouble for it. So what you do is when it's like warm outside, but it's gonna get like really cold at night, you go and you take I should not be telling anybody this. I'm not gonna tell anybody how to do it. I am not gonna. Well, basically though, what you do is you take a box of plastic forks and then you go like when the ground is warm and you put it like in the ground and then the ground freezes, and so when people go and they try to take them out, they break and then it's in the ground. We did that to our friend in high school one time. People used to like TP a lot too. Do you remember that? You don't really see that as much anymore. My one friend in high school, she had like, when we were like sophomore, when we were like juniors, she had like an older brother that was real popular, and then she had like a sister that was like 2 years younger, and they like all three of them were like real active in school and stuff. So like people were always playing pranks on their house, you know, like, because they were just like, you know, other kids in school would always be like playing pranks on them, and I can remember like dropping her off and like there'd just be like toilet paper just like, you know, in the fall, just like in the wind from the trees, and I'd be like, what happened? And she'd be like, it was for my brother. It's so interesting. When I was in high school, like, I hated high school. I mean, I didn't hate, like, that period of my life necessarily. I hated, like, being at school and getting bullied. And and on top of that, I just had no interest in school. You know, like, going to classes and homework. I had no interest in it whatsoever. But, like, after school and, like, hanging out with my friends and driving around and listening to music and reading books and watching movies and TV with my mom and, like, doing stuff with our friends and, like, our family friends on the weekend and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of liked family trips because I had fun with family trips, you know, like, with my dad and my stepmom was always fun, and my mom and I, we would take, like, local little trips with friends of hers and stuff, like, nothing big deal. But, you know, like to Beaver Island, Michigan in the summer and stuff like that. But I look, you know, at that period of my life, and it's like, you know, even like I just look at that, like, how safe it was, you know, to some degree, and like, oh, don't go. I caught it, but you almost saw what happens. Actually, somebody emailed me and said it was very, very sweet that they, like, are sending me something from my car, like, to hang it. So we'll see how that works. I hope it works. But anyway, I got distracted. What was I going to say? Yeah, that period of my life, you know, was very safe to some degree. I mean, even though I was bullied at school, like at home and on the weekends and stuff like that, like I had a lot of fun, like, hanging out with my friends and doing stuff, you know, and, you know, you don't have to worry about bills and, you know, like, I didn't have to, at least, you know, during that period of my life, and just, you know, I don't know, it's different, like, and you fight so hard to grow up and have all this freedom, and then you get it, and what does that mean? Like, having to pay bills and deal with just, I mean, there's bullies out there no matter what age you are, you know what I mean? I mean, to some degree, the person that, like, fights you for a space in the parking lot is a bully. I'm just like, take that spot. That is one thing I am, like, do not understand, is people that fight for parking spots. Like, I just do not understand it. Like, that is so much tension of your heart. I'm just like, have it. If you want that parking space so bad that it's going to mean that much to you, take it, please. Not that it's going to hurt me at all to walk a little extra distance either, you know. These apartments over here are so cute. They look like little brownstones in, like, Chicago or somewhere in New York, maybe. I still haven't seen a Starbucks. I cannot believe that there's not a Starbucks out here. They would make a fortune. And I don't know why it never occurred to me that they didn't have one out here. I'm not crazy. Well, I'm going to get off here and head home. I have no idea how long this is. I said it wasn't going to be that long, and it's probably It's probably close to an hour. Not an hour, but close to an hour. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful... Can you believe it's Wednesday already? Oh my God. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If nobody else has told you this, I love you. And have an amazing day unless you have other plans. I love you. Bye.